and I'm going to record as well, so goodness knows. I was trying to do something earlier. I was trying to record with my iPhone camera, and it was far too much technology, so I've given up on that one. So we're going to come over into standing now, and that's it. Take that there. My very high-tech piece of paper on my screen telling me to record it. Maybe that's Sam in. Oh, is that Otto? No, no. Otto. Very long suffering. Hi, Sam. So starting and standing up now. And we're going to do this loose, easy. So letting the arms swing from side to side. That's it. Try not to crash into anything. Good. That's quite funny because I think, I don't know whether the internet, says the internet connection is unstable. So Linda, you suddenly went really speedy. Your arms from not moving suddenly moved really quickly. Good. So just a few more times. That's nice. You can let your arms slap onto your body if you like. Good. And Ruth, just take it easy. I'm sure you will do after your injury. And it may be when we come to the lying down bit on your back, you might want to put an extra blanket or something under you, possibly. Okay, what I'd like us to do now is focus in on one arm at a time. So you're going to start with, and maybe if one arm's a bit easier. So actually, perhaps first of all, close your eyes and just feel how your shoulders and arms feel. And if there's one that's a bit less problematic than the other, start with your easier arm. And we're going to start to do these circling movements. Yes, make sure you've got the space. So you're drawing a big circle with your arm. Make it comfortable. Yes, and make sure you're moving your pelvis. So you're moving your whole body to help you move your arm. You're not just trying to, that's it, sort of only move the arm. You're moving as you take your arm. And you can circle in both directions. That's really nice. And you could be looking at your hand as some of you are doing. Good. Circle one way, circle the other. Let your pelvis come along with the movement. Lovely. Okay. And then let's do the same on the other side. So come on to the second arm. And if this arm is a bit stiffer, then you can always do quite a small movement. You can always just do a little circle. But if it feels okay, you can do a bigger circle. And again, you can keep changing direction. And you can let your pelvis move. That's it. So as much as possible, try and make sure this movement is helpful for you, for your body, for how you're feeling right now. Okay, and then let's just come into a forward bend. So settle down on your mat with your feet a little distance apart, and we'll just see how it feels today to take ourselves forward. So it might be that you bend your knees a little bit, you rest your elbows on your thighs. It might be that you want to release your arms all the way down to the ground and just use this first forward bend, just really explorative or exploratory. How does it feel? Can you let your head go? Can you feel your heels rooted into the ground? Maybe just have another breath or two here in your forward bend. Let the breath come in. Let the breath leave you. And then as you exhale, roll back up into standing. Good. When you arrive in standing, maybe give your arms and legs a little shake out. So it's good, I think, just to keep ourselves moving. And then we're going to see, let's just swing our arms and cross them in front of ourselves. So arms, give me a little space for this. I was just thinking that's one benefit of the social distancing. That's how we've got space to swing our arms. And then from here, I'd like you to see, how does it feel to swing your arms all the way up and then drop them down? Okay, and just maybe have a cycle of breath there. Let the breath come in, let the breath leave. And then release your arms. You can swing them again a little bit. And then this time, when you take your arms up, you're going to come to reach up into one arm and then the other. So as you reach into one arm, you could shift your weight into your reaching leg side. So you're reaching through your arm and you shift your weight into that leg. You don't have to do that, but see how that feels. That's nice. Yeah, and you can experiment. You can look up at your hands. If your neck, yeah, my neck doesn't particularly like that. So you can look up or you can not look up. Good. Okay, let's just release the arms for a moment and give them a little shake out. And then what we're going to do is take the arms up and we're going to catch around. We've got a lot of layers on there, Rachel, which is life now. So swing the arms up. And then you're going to reach up through one arm and catch your hand around that wrist. That's it. And then sort of draw yourself up and over. So you're lengthening out through one side of the body. And again, I would take my weight over into my, the other side, yeah. So I'll take my weight into the other leg actually, Rebecca. So that's it. The one that you're reaching up through, take your weight into that leg. You could come to the center and swap your arms over. So reach up through your arm. That's it. Sam, we seem to be going on a journey with you. Maybe we'll go on a journey to find better Wi-Fi. So good. Okay, and then from this reaching up one, let yourself come all the way down into a forward bend. Bend your knees as much as you like. Let your arms go. I'm just double checking I haven't left anyone in the waiting room, which would feel a bit good. So that's nice, Rachel. Elbows, yes. So your elbows can be on your thighs or your arms can be releasing to the floor. And you could let your arms sort of swing or sway a little bit from side to side, or even each arm sort of circle a little bit. So these are just, I'm suggesting these things, and I think it depends what you feel like your body feels like doing. I'm trying to be led by that. Okay, and then we'll come back up into standing as we exhale. Good. Ruth, how are you doing? Are you all right? Oh, yeah, good. Okay. Right. Let's now, we're going to come into a balance. So you're going to, I think first thing, close your eyes and just come to a little bit of shifting your weight from side to side. So I'd like you at this point to make a choice about which leg you would like to stand on first. So you're choosing the easy leg. We're not making it hard for ourselves. So if in doing this sort of swaying from side to side, do you feel a bit more drawn to one leg? We don't need to spend too long deliberating. So whichever leg you're going to stand on, reach up with that arm and start to shift your weight onto your chosen leg. So you come up onto the ball of your foot. So really we're transferring our weight onto our leg now. And then we're going to see, can we catch the top of our foot? And at that point, once you've caught the top of your foot, good, I'm just showing a very bad example, you're going to bring your hand down to your breastbone. That's it. And just see if you can settle here for a breath or two. And if, like me, it's fine, you know, if you have a bit of a wobble, and drop your shoulders down away from your ears. That's nice. And this is one of the things that balancing is a bit easier on Zoom, I think. Very easy if you feel no one's looking at you. Lovely, well done. Very nice. And yes, there's always the option of catching your trouser leg in this one or using a belt. So come down and have a little shake out, and we'll do the other side. So I always start with this for balances, looking at my feet. There's something sort of reassuring. So we look at our feet, we stop looking at our feet, we feel our feet. And for this balance, we reach the arm up that we're going to balance on that foot. And we start to shift our weight onto that foot. The other heel comes up, that's it. So we have this moment where we've still got our other foot on the floor, but it's very light. And then we just sneak it up. Catch the top of our foot, lovely. And then bring our hand onto our breastbone. Good. That's it. And just can we settle for a couple of breaths in this balance? That's it, Ruth. Maybe bring your hand onto your breastbone, and that might help you just feel a bit steadier. Can't guarantee it, but it might. Good. Let the breath come in, let the breath leave you. Yeah, well done. It's fine if you have a bit of a wobble. Like I did. Okay. come down now and have a little shake out. So we're going to come back to that balance in a little bit, but we're going to go down into a sequence from the back of our mat. So we're going to go down sort of through a forward bend and dog pose. So come towards the back of your mat. Have a look at your feet. Are you very all right, Rachel, with the window? No, it's okay. Good. So 20th of May, we should be on. We should be fine. Okay, so bring your hands into prayer pose at the back of your mat. You're going to let a breath come in, and as you exhale, you're going to take your arms down and then up. Drop your shoulders away, feel long and tall. And then from here, start to bend your knees a little bit, gather your elbows in, rolling down, forward bend. And again, you could have your elbows on your thighs, or you could let your arms hang. And have a breath or two in your forward bend. And hopefully we're starting to feel the backs of the legs are releasing a little bit now. And from your forward bend, you're then going to walk your hands forwards into dog pose. And just see what's a good length of dog pose for you. Can you rest through your arms? And then you might want to bend your knees quite a lot, or you might want to bend one knee at a time. Good. So, first, it might be your first dog pose of the day. It might not be, might be your first dog pose for a long time. So you don't have to stay there long. Have a couple of breaths. If it feels okay, have another breath or two. If it's enough, Rebecca, I'd say maybe try bringing your arms a little bit further forwards and up. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. That way on your back. Good. And really, bend your knees plenty. So then what you're going to do is come down onto hands and knees. And for this, we're going to do some of our cat movements. So settle yourself with your shoulders under your hands. No, your shoulders over your hands and your knees under your hips. And come to rounding and dipping your spine. We're just seeing how these movements feel. So we're trying to feel that we're supporting ourselves through these sort of four pillars of our arms and our legs. Good. And then how does it feel to move our spine? So I think, Ruth, I was saying to you, these were good movements because we can start to explore finding a bit of mobility, a bit of fluidity through our spine without the ground being in the way. So we can also do a little bit of our tail wagging here. So yes, well done, Rebecca, bring up your tail wagging. So as you all know, imagine you have a tail. So Linda, you should be an expert at this, as Linda looks after dogs all day. So an expert at wagging your tail and seeing how that feels. Now, if you're wagging your tail, yes, so you could do it by swinging your lower legs from side to side. So you could just imagine you have a tail and move your pelvis, or you could swing your lower legs from side to side. We can do that quickly and just swing the lower leg. Or we can do it a bit more slowly and look towards our feet. And then we're bringing the movement all the way up into our neck. Let's just take the weight off our hands by rounding our back into a rounded up cat and rocking back into child pose, just for a couple of breaths. So settle in child and just, really see, Rebecca, how can your shoulders be as comfortable as possible? Yeah, so not just Rebecca, everyone in child pose, how can you make it as comfortable as possible in your shoulders? Also in the whole of your body, so it might be taking your knees wider apart for some of you. And if it doesn't feel comfortable, you can always be on your elbows, sort of rocking forwards and back a little bit. So sometimes child pose, like anything, doesn't feel so. Just let yourself have another cycle of breath in child pose. And then we're going to come into a lunge. So if you come onto hands and knees, you're going to bring one foot forwards in between your hands. That's it. And then you're going to tuck your toes under in your back foot, if you like, and walk your back a bit more. That's it. But then let your knee come onto the ground, Rebecca. So you try to feel that your front knee's over your front heel. And what we've got is that stretch. Yes, stretch through the, yes, good, okay. And we can just have a few breaths in our lunge. So in lunge, we're feeling this delightful stretch through the front of our back leg thigh, and we're just staying with it and breathing. And I would keep everything else quite relaxed. So if you look down at the floor, you can let your shoulders feel soft. You might be resting through your arms a bit, and that's absolutely fine. Okay, and then just have another cycle or two of breath here. And Ruth, if any of these things feel a bit much, then obviously don't stay in them, or anyone. You're going to ease out of lunge. So if you untuck your back toe, then you can keep your chest close to your thigh and just rock back a bit. That's it. So that's like that, Rebecca. And then you might walk your hands in and come onto your front heel. That's it. And look back towards your back foot. Good. So that then becomes more of a stretch through the back of your front leg. Okay, let's swap. So we've got the other foot forwards in. That's it. And again, it's up to you how much stretch you want through that back leg. You want to keep your front knee over your front heel. You can tuck your toes under, walk your back leg away from you. Good. Have a breath or two here. Temperature-wise, I'm feeling quite warm actually. Rebecca, what about you? You're usually feeling cold, aren't you?
It's perfect. You can turn.
Well, we'll see. Probably everyone in my house is very pleased I put the heating on. Okay, have another couple of breaths in your lunge. And then, yes, whenever you've had enough, you can ease back out of lunge, untucking your back foot. So we're going to come into a back pose now. So Linda, you might be better for you to do an elbow plank, yeah, possibly, rather than. So for most of you, you're going to have your hands, you're going towards the front of your mat. And Rebecca, you probably want to make sure your hands are under your shoulders, so not too wide apart. Linda, it might be better for you to be on your elbows and your forearms, and anyone else if there's any wrist issues. And then you're just really trying to keep your shoulders where they are and your hips where they are. Lengthen one leg back behind you and tuck your toes under. That's the easy bit. Stretch your heel away at this point, and then add in leg number 2. Which is the less easy bit. And yes, just see how it feels to have maybe 1 or 2 more cycles of breath in your plank. And whenever you've had enough, you can sit back down, just sit into kneeling, either up or down kneeling, and give your hands a shake out. So if it's not good for you to be sitting on your heels, you can be upright. Good, and give your hands a shake up in the backs of your hands together, that one as well. Okay, and we're going to come back up into standing. Now, I'm suggesting we do this through a squat and a forward bend. But if you prefer to do dog pose, if that's better for you, you could. So into this muscle for the wrist. So we're going to come from to here and then into a forward bend. So. Or you can do dog pose if you prefer. So from here, we're going to start to send our sit bones up towards ceiling and our heels down towards the floor. So we come into a forward bend at the back of your mat. If you're not at the back of your mat, don't worry. Let your head go, let your arms go, let a breath come in, let a breath leave you. And then we'll roll up into standing. You can trail your hands up the front of your body. So if you touch the back of your hand together, and then you can sort of Rebecca, if you sort of trail your hands up the front of your body, and then you can take them all the way up to the ceiling. That's it. Feel long and tall. Yes, you can do a sort of back arch there, which we will do a bit more at the moment. Good. And hands back into prayer pose. So what I'd like you to do now is come to have your feet a distance apart, hip width apart, but facing the long edge of your mat. Probably all like no, as you were was fine. Yeah. So you're facing the short edge of your mat, the length of your mat, really just so that you can step 1 foot forwards, and you can then start to rock your weight forwards and back. Good. So you've stepped a foot forwards, you're rocking your weight forwards and back. Make sure you've still got this sort of hip, a little bit of distance sideways between your feet. Good. So we come onto the heel of the front foot. We come onto the ball of the back foot. So this is just always find this very calming. So whenever my head is busy, or this really does help me feel quiet. And then I thought what we would do from here is if we settle down, so let both feet settle onto the floor. You're going to keep your back leg straight, but bend your front knee. And do that sort of back arching movement here. So you perhaps have one hand on your breastbone to start with. And you're taking your arm up and you're letting your gaze come up. So we're opening through the front of the body. So you could take both arms up if you like. So front knees bent, back leg straight. The sort of first warrior position, that's it. Good, and then from there, you're then going to fold forwards over your bent front leg. So you could bring your hands or your elbow to rest on your bent front leg, or you could fold all the way down so your chest comes close to your thigh in your front leg. And you let your arms come down, you let your head go. Good. And have a breath or two there. And then we try to sort of come up, sinking into our feet with as sort of steady as possible. Good. That's nice. Lovely. And then step your front foot back. And then step your other foot forwards. And come back to shifting your weight forwards and back with the other foot forwards now. Good. So again, we're coming onto the ball of the back foot, the heel of the front foot. We're just shifting our weight forwards and back. Good. And then eventually, like we did on the other side, you're going to settle down, both feet settled on the floor. Keep your back leg straight and bend your front knee. And you're trying to feel really planted from the waist down. And then we're taking our arm, either one arm or both arms up. So I've got one hand on my breastbone, so I can sort of feel as I look forwards and even up a bit, that my breastbone sort of becomes quite wide in front of my chest. So looking up for a breath or two. Make sure your neck is happy. You can always support your head with your hands if that's better. And then as you exhale, good, folding forwards, come to rest down over your bent front leg. Either your hands or your elbows resting on your front thigh, or go all the way down so your chest comes close to your thigh, and you can release your arms to the ground if you like, and have a breath or two there. And then as you exhale, sink down into your heels, come back up into standing. Good. And have a little shake out. Shake out of arms and legs. Good. And from that same position, we're going to come back into the balance we were doing earlier. So come back to settling down with both feet side by side. And come to stepping your first foot forwards again. And we're going to rock our way forwards and back. So I'm hoping I've still got everyone on Zoom, as people are freezing a bit. I can still see you, Linda. I hope you can see me. Good, so rocking your weight forwards and back. What we're going to do from here is we're going to take our weight completely into our front foot. And actually the first thing you could do is bring your hand onto your breastbone. So the front foot hand comes onto the breastbone, because you're going to bring your weight completely onto your front foot and catch your back foot, or you catch your trouser leg. So we're back to that balance that we did, a little bit earlier. Let your knee really drop, Rachel, that's it. And if you want to from here, you could then start to reach forwards with your hand and backwards with your foot. So your foot reaches away from your bottom. And you might let yourself tip forwards a bit. You might let your pelvis turn towards the side. Just, wherever you would like to go with this balance. And it might be that, like me, you have a look very well done. Very nice. Good. So if you can reach your foot back away from the, that's it, good. Reach the foot back away from the bottom. Very nice. And if, like me, you have a little wobble, you can always come back into it and try again. And then, we can have a little shake out. We'll try. Very nice, Sam. That looks lovely. Wonderful. Good. So let's try the other side, side two. So start again with your feet a little distance apart. Step foot number 2 forwards. Come to a little bit of rocking forwards and back. And so we've got this intention this time that we're going to take all of our weight into our front foot in a moment. So you're going to bring that hand, the front foot hand, onto your breastbone. And then you're going to let your weight come completely into your front foot and catch the top of your back foot, or catch your trouser leg, or I know some of you are using a belt. Give yourself a breath or two here in the centre, and then when you like, you can try this movement. So the hand reaches forwards from the breastbone, and we try and push our foot back away from our bottom. So reach backwards with our foot. And can we have a breath or two here? Good. Well done. Fabulous. When you come down, you're going to come straight on into a forward bend. And if you like, so sometimes that one can be a little bit challenging for the lower back, you could take your forward bend on into a squat. So I'm just going to really leave that up to you. If I was thinking that's something my back would quite like, would be to come on into a squat. So, oh yeah, you don't have to. Nice, lovely squats. So it doesn't matter whether your heels come up or you can be in a forward bend. So from your squats, you can make your way back into a forward bend. So sending your heels down, sending your sit bones up. And we'll, on an exhalation, we'll roll back into standing. Okay, most of you look like you're at the back of your mat. We're going to just then, before we come down through a forward bend and dog pose again, we're going to do these, just see how it feels to do these little standing back arches. So your feet are side by side now. And I often have one hand on my belly because you're trying to make this connection that as you look up, your pelvis comes forwards. Yeah? Good, exactly. And some of you, it might be helpful to bend your knees because that might help the lower back feel more comfortable. Yeah, and so you can take both arms up, and sometimes it's helpful to take both arms up because it sort of makes you bring your pelvis forwards. Yeah, very nice, good. And then from here, you can do one more of those if you like, and then we'll come down into our forward bend. So all the way down into a forward bend. And from your forward bend, you're going to go on into dog pose when you're ready. So walking your hands forwards. And just, seeing how dog pose feels. I'm going to have a look at all of you. And that looks really nice. Good. Nice dog poses. So really wide across the upper back. That's it, Maria. See if you can just feel spacious across the back of your shoulders. Let your heads go. From dog pose, you're going to come down onto hands and knees. And you're going to just do a little bit of cat and a bit more tail wagging before we come back into child pose. Let's see how these move. If you feel that you need to take the weight off your hands, you can, of course, and Linda, it might work better for you, you can be on your elbows and doing these same movements, these same cat movements on your forearms and also your tail wagging. Okay, so a little bit of, again, imagining you have a tail and wagging your tail from side to side. Sorry if the internet is bad because the whole house is trying to use it probably. So we're going to come into child pose. So from cat, round your back to the ceiling and then stay rounded to rock your hips back over your heels and settle down in child pose for a couple of breaths. And again, just really, that's it, good with the shoulders, very nice. Just think about how can the shoulders be as soft and relaxed as possible. Really good. So those of you who missed out on the little bit of lying down at the beginning, you'll be pleased to hear that we're shortly going to be doing a bit more lying down. But before we do, we've got a little bit more to do on hands and knees. So where you are in child pose, you could just, before you come up onto hands and knees, sorry, Matt has just rolled out, so there's rolling everywhere. Before you come up onto hands, what I'd like you to do is slide your hands forwards on the floor. That's it. So your elbows come off the floor. And then come up onto hands and knees. Now, Linda, you might find, because we're coming towards face up dog, if your wrists are not happy, Linda, you can come down onto your belly and do these little ones where you sink into your forearms. Now, the rest of you, you're in this sort of long hands and knees. And what you're going to do is you're going to wag your tail back into child pose. And you're going to wag your tail, so with your pelvis side to side, forwards into face up dog. So that's it, Becky, yeah. Remember this one. So wagging your tail back into child and forwards into face up dog. I was then just wondering, Linda, you probably could do these things on your elbows if you had them in the right place. But you might just be better. Your elbows. So maybe do that 3 times. That's it. So Rebecca, I didn't quite see that, but when you come into face up dog, you want to try and feel that you're ending up with your wrists under your shoulders. So yeah, you might at some point have to slightly adjust where your arms are. So it's often when you're back in child pose, you really want to be sort of sliding your hands forwards. Yeah, just look to me that slightly your hands might have been too close into your feet. Yeah, that's so yeah, 3 times sort of forwards into face up dog, if that feels okay, back into child, and then end up in child, just so I know that you've, that's nice, good, beautiful, really lovely, it's very nice through the shoulders. Okay, so that's it. So when you've done that 3 times, then let yourself stay in child pose. Let a breath come in, let a breath leave you. So Rebecca, you might find that you want to put your folding blanket on your mat, because from child pose we're going to slither forwards onto our, and then we're going to roll onto our back. So from child pose, we're going to slither, so it's a little snake like. We're going to slither forward into our bellies and set on the belly with perhaps one hand on top of the other, and your chin or your forehead resting on your top hand. And once you've arrived on your belly, you're going to give your pelvis a wiggle from side to side. Yeah, that's nice. Good, good. There's a nice wiggling of your pelvis on your belly. And then just let yourself settle for a moment. A cycle or 2 of breath come through you, and just see how you hang on your belly. So maybe quite like lying on your belly. So if you're somebody who likes lying on your belly, just enjoy it for a moment. So resting on your belly, let breath come in, letting your breath leave. And then we can do this other one on our belly, which those of you on Zoom, we've done quite a lot, where we bend our knees and take the soles of our feet to the ceiling. And then we tilt our feet to the right and to the left. And just keep resting with your head, the back of your hands, keeping it comfortable. And see how that feels. And if you don't like that movement, or your lower back isn't so happy, you try taking your feet a bit nearer to the floor. Or obviously you don't have to do it at all. And then yes, I always enjoy seeing the feet on Zoom. The real life feet, very nice. And so from here you can do a bit more tilting of your feet, and you can also just let your legs come down onto the floor. And have another breath or 2 lying on your belly. So how does it feel just to be quiet on your belly, to let the breath come in, to let the breath leave you? And from your belly, you're going to roll over onto your back. And yes, it's up to you whether you want to just roll over and keep your head where it is, or whether you want to turn around so your head's up at the other end of your mat. I don't mind. It's probably a good choice, Rebecca, with your feet by the radiator. Rachel, yes, yeah, exactly. You put socks on
weird,
the other feet. Yeah, it's really weird, isn't it? Because I used to always sort of say, okay, you know, keep your head where it is. And I think when I do it, I want to be a particular way around. I don't like my head facing the door. You think something's going to come in unexpectedly. So we're going to do a few things on our backs. So the first thing you're going to do is just arrive on your back and lie however you like. And yeah, whatever you want to do, just settling down. Good. And then if your legs are long, you're going to bend your knees and stand your feet on the floor. And you're going to then fold one of your knees into your chest and hold around the top of the knee or around the back of your thigh. And then you're going to lengthen this leg up towards the ceiling and just hold on to that leg somehow. So you could hold on to your trouser leg. I mean, I just like to catch around the back of my thigh, really. It doesn't matter where you hold on to your leg. Somehow you get a hold of your leg. You could do a bit of circling into your ankle. That's quite nice. Or you could do a bit of pointing your toes, pointing your heel. Good. And just really enjoy this feeling of having the legs up at the end of the day. And then fold that knee back into your chest. So keep that same knee folded into your chest and lengthen your other leg out on the floor. And just maybe roll your leg on the floor to try and settle it down. And then again, you're going to take that same leg back up to the ceiling again and see how it feels. So the same leg that was, yeah, that's it. Not that's, yeah. So the leg that you lengthened out on the floor stays there, and the leg that a moment ago you took up to the ceiling, you're taking up again. And whatever you like, again, you could shake your leg out. Sometimes it's nice to give your thigh a bit of a slap, or any part of your leg a bit of a slap. So that feels nice. Oh. And then maybe just sort of gently lower that leg down so you've got two long legs on the floor for a moment. Good. Lovely. And then from there, you can bend both knees, stand both feet on the floor. So both knees bent, both feet standing on the floor. And then fold the other knee into your chest. So this is the one that you didn't take up to the ceiling last time. And then when you're ready, you can lengthen that leg up to the ceiling. So leg number 2, lengthening it up towards the ceiling. Just hold on to the leg somehow. Somehow that's helpful for you. It could be around the back of the thigh, you know, wherever you can catch your leg. You can give it a shake out. You can circle your ankle a bit. So again, I'm just giving you a few suggestions. There might be something you feel really drawn to doing. You could point your toes, point your heel. Good. Let the breath come in, let the breath leave you. And then fold that knee back into your chest. Keep that knee folded into your chest. Lengthen the other leg out on the floor. See if you can just let that leg be long and heavy. And then the knee that is folded into your chest, then lengthen that leg up to the ceiling again. So it should be the same leg going back up to the ceiling. Don't worry too much if you've got into a pickle. And again, yes, we could slap that leg out. That seems to be a popular choice, slapping on our leg. Oh. And any of the other things, but you know, you could just shake your leg, whatever you like. Just be quiet there, letting your leg lengthen up. And then again from there, you can lower that leg down onto the ground. And yeah, you don't have to keep your legs long. If you're comfortable with your legs long, keep them long. So both legs long now on the ground. If it's not comfy, Rebecca, if it's better with your knees bent, and Ruth, whatever's better for your back, just however you're more comfortable. And then you're going to cross your arms over your chest, so you're crossing your elbows. And some of you, I think, who were here early on, we did some of this, so you've got a little bit of a sneak thing. Linda, I just want to quickly see how you crossed your arms. So you want to cross, yeah, well done, that's good. Now, I want you to see, how is it to rock a little bit across your upper back without moving your knees or your pelvis? So can you rock your weight side to side across the back of your shoulders? And some of you have got quite amazing movement in this. If it was me, I would be not moving very much at all, but feeling it was quite painful. So if you're doing this and you're thinking, oh my goodness, I'm really not much is happening, but I'm feeling it. That's fine. If you're moving quite a lot and you feel you're rolling onto your fingers, then trail the fingers out away from your body. So just perhaps once, twice more to each side like this. Good. And then change the cross of your arms. So put the other arm on top. And if your legs are long, now bend your knees and stand your feet on the floor. That's it. Bend your knees, stand your feet on the floor. And now you're going to let the knees and the elbows and the head all tilt to the right and to the left. So this is much easier now. Much bigger. A bigger movement, probably a more comfortable one back. Oh. And I was going to say, enjoy that movement. And so some of you, this is possibly, we did this right at the beginning of class. So just doing, Ruth, you're right, this might not be so enjoyable for you. I'm just thinking that rocking from side to side. So if that's the case, don't do it then. This is what we're doing. And then from here, we can uncross our arms. We've just got a couple more things on our back. So Ruth, if it's not good for you, then you could come over onto hands and knees and do a bit more cat movements. We're going to uncross our arms, fold our knees into our chest. A little bit of rocking with the knees folded into the chest. A bit of rocking from side to side. A little bit of taking the legs up to the ceiling and giving them a shake out. Yeah, a little bit of taking the legs out, good. And then the last thing I'd like you to do on your back is just, can you bring your feet into Cobbler Pose on your back? And this is with your feet up in the air, not with your feet on the floor. So you're trying to touch the soles of your feet together. Just the best you can, and just hold somewhere. So some of you might be able to hold your feet, or you might hold your ankles. And just a little bit of rocking from side to side with your feet in Cobbler Pose on your back. And it doesn't have to be the most amazing Cobbler Pose, but actually it looks really lovely. Well done. Good. And Emma, now's your moment. If you want to rock yourself all the way onto your side and over into sitting Cobbler Pose, you can do, or anyone else. You don't have to. That's a little joke. We are going to be coming over into sitting Cobbler Pose. Yeah, especially on the wooden floor. So yes, in an easy way, make your way over to sitting Cobbler Pose. And lean back on your arms. And actually, it might be good, you two, if you face the long edge of your mat. And I do mean the long edge of your mat this time. And so it might be good for everyone if that you face the long edge of your mat, possibly, because we're going to come on to Pigeon Pose. I don't know whether I should reveal that or not. so let's just see how Cobbler Pose feels. I feel like I want to just lean back on my arms. Rebecca, I would sort of look down a bit, so you're just here quietens, that's it. But you could do a little bit of circling or a little bit of rocking. You know, if depending what feels nice for you. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Just something that feels enjoyable. And from Cobbler Pose, we're going to come into Pinwheel. So let's let one knee come on top of the other knee. And we're going to slide our top leg back. So I'm sure, yes, we probably remember this. That's it from all that time ago. And a bit of circling here. Good. Just circling in Pinwheel. And again, if you like, you could do the arm variation where we cross our arms over our chest. And I like to bring my hands onto my shoulders here. And if you look down, then it's really nice across the upper back and the back of the shoulders. So I think if your shoulders are achy, yeah, Maria, that's a good option for you, I think. Your shoulders are achy or a bit stiff, we know that you get a bit tight in your upper back, and this gives an opportunity to release them. And what we're going to do in Pinwheel today is going to then come on into Pigeon Pose. So this knee that's going out to the side, we're going to try and slide that knee back a little bit. So I always think about from here, I'm trying to then get my leg a bit more level with the long edge of my mat. That's it. So slide the leg back. And then if you lean your weight over that leg, we can then sort of release the back leg, and then we start to lengthen the back leg back behind us, tucking the toes under. That's it. So Rebecca, then you can sort of roll your pelvis so your pelvis comes a bit more level. You don't have to. And make sure you might find on one side you're better being sort of offside. So in your pigeon, you can either be a bit sort of lopsided, so all of your weight is through your front leg thigh, or Rebecca, you see, you could roll more like this so that your pelvis is level to the ground, if that makes sense. So I can see it doesn't. So see, what's it like if you just bring your pelvis over this way? That way, let your knee go a bit more over to the left and your pelvis come over to the right, if that's possible. Yeah, that's it. Yes, just see if your pelvis can. So your left thigh comes off the floor. That's up. I don't think good. Stay there then. Stay there. So wherever you are in your pigeon pose, just have a few breaths there. Yeah, and so I think that's probably good. Just stay there, Rebecca. So you could just try and let your shoulders soften. You can, let me see how you're doing. You can always experiment with where you're resting. So that's it. You could come up onto your hands, if you like. Maria, just make sure if you do that, that your shoulders stay sort of soft and relaxed. Yeah, very nice. Another breath or two in pigeon. And from pigeon, before we come sort of onto our other side of pinwheel and pigeon, what we're going to do is sort of roll out onto that front leg hip. So sort of roll through there, lean back onto your hands. Just take both legs long and wide. That's nice. And you can lean back, that's it. You can lean back onto your hands as much as you like. And some of you, if you're particularly happy in this and you want to be folding forwards, yes, that's nice, Rachel. So you can do a bit of rolling your legs here. And it really depends how happy you are here. It might just be you want to keep it very easy. Good. Or if you're someone who really likes this position, then you might want to do a little bit of seeing how does it feel to fold forwards. Yeah, Rachel, you look there. Very nice. Yes, that's good. And we'll have another few breaths here after our second side of pigeon. But what I think we'll do from here is, if you lean back onto your hands, bring your feet back into Cobbler Pose without using your hands. Good. And see how it feels to be back in Cobbler Pose. Whether you want to do any sort of circling or rocking here. And the other way around, Rachel. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Don't you? Sometimes when I turn around on my mat, then I get really confused about what leg I'm supposed to be. Here we go. Which way I'm supposed to be going? Is it your bones? You sure it's not my floor? Yeah, sometimes in these ones, I think it's like the sometimes it's the sort of tendon catching a little bit on the. Okay. So from here, let's move into pinwheel going the other way. So. Swing around, yeah, is that the other way? Yeah, good. I'm glad you remember. So slide your top leg back. We're just having some discussion here about which way we go. That's it. And a little bit of circling in pinwheel. And again, if you like to do the one where you're crossing your arms over your chest. And looking down, feeling wide across your upper back. And then again, we'll, in a moment, we'll go on into Pigeon Pose. So the same thing. And I think what was slightly happening with you, Rebecca, is that your foot was a bit far forwards, which might have made it more challenging. So letting your knee slide back. So this knee that's going out to the side, the knee slides back. Yes, that's it. I think keeping your foot sort of closer into your groin. So the knee slides back, and then if we lean our weight over that leg, we can sort of free up the other leg to lengthen back behind us. That's it. If we tuck our toes under, we can sort of pull our leg back. And then it might be good. Do you think this is just easier on this side?
Much easier.
Much easier. Okay, yes, it's a big difference. So seeing how Pigeon Pose feels on this second side, and just remember you can be down on your elbows. You might even take your forehead to the ground, some of you. You can also, some of you might be, you know, a bit more off to the side, and that's fine. Good. Or, yeah, so where can you be to settle, to have a few breaths? That's a bit challenging on that side, Rachel.
Yeah, I'm not listening to this one.
No, I don't think you should. This one's very wise. If you're still in Pigeon Pose and you'd like to walk your hands in a little bit, just remember to keep the shoulders soft. Shoulder blades sliding down. Good. And of course, remember, whenever you've had enough of pigeon, to come out by rolling onto that front leg. Yeah. So do you think it's just that hip is less stiff, or do you think it's only all of my left leg? Left. Good. So again, you can make, yes, when you ease yourself, come back into your wide sit again. Let's look at, see how much longer we've got left. Good, because that's very nice. So in a moment, we're going to come on to a couple of things that I wanted to do last week on a Thursday, and we ran out of time, so we're doing them this week. Not ominous things. So I have these. So you can just have, if you're happy with your legs long and wide, you can have another couple of breaths here. And I'll just talk you into it. So the first thing we're going to do, this is going to be a very brief thing, is we're just going to see how does it feel. So the first thing is just to come onto our forearms, and can we let our head hang? So come onto the forearms, let the head hang. So you're on your forearms and you're on your knees, and you're trying to let your head hang. If your head hits the floor, then your elbows could come in a bit closer towards each other. And just maybe have another cycle of breath, just letting your head hang. And then come and sit upright and kneeling for a moment, or if you can be an up kneeling, Rachel, whatever's better for the kneeling. Just come upright for a moment, and let your head sort of rest down onto the top of your spine. And then we're just going to do one thing. All we're going to do is take the weight onto the top of our head for a moment and see how it feels. And if you don't like it, then you don't have to stay there. If I've only got a single mat, if you feel you haven't got enough padding, you can always put your blanket under your head, Rebecca. So you're going to bring your forearms back onto the floor, and you're going to take them wide enough apart that you can then bring the top of your head onto the ground. And you can see how that feels. And you could, if it feels okay, do a little bit of rolling so that you roll a bit more towards your forehead. Just a small movement, and then back towards the top of your head. And that's it. And just keep your shoulders really relaxed, because this can be so nice for the shoulders and the neck. Just bring the top of our head to the floor. If there's a comfortable place on the top of your head, just to perhaps have a couple of breaths and stay there. Come onto the top of your head, let the breath come in. You might have to adjust your arms sometimes if your arms feel that they're in the way. So on the top of your head, let the breath come in, let the breath leave you. And then once more, sit back into kneeling and let your head sit down on the top of your spine. That's all we're doing of that one. Let's see if we have this sort of little, we haven't actually done any of these over the last year, so head on top of spine. And then what you're going to do is just come into a dog pose and see how it feels to come into dog. So you can tuck your toes under. An elbow dog if you prefer, if that works better for you. You can of course bend your knees as much as you like. Let the head go. Let the breath come in, let the breath leave you. Lovely. And then you come back down from dog and rush. If you're enjoying your dog, you can stay there. We're going to just do a little bit of rolling up through our spine, which could take you onto shoulder stand, but it doesn't have to. So either with your feet, so eventually you can put your feet on the sofa, and Rebecca, you can put your feet on the wall. So I would suggest you might want to fold your mat in half, or both mats in half, just a bit more padding, or you could just move them both nearer to the sofa. Sure. So we're going to, yeah, it's really nice if you've got a sofa or a bed to put your feet up on. And when I was doing this earlier today, I wasn't doing it with my feet on the shelves, but it's okay. I was just doing a bit of rolling up and down across sort of upper back in the back of my neck. So Rebecca, shuffle down a bit more so you're nearer the wall. I think you are. Let's see, no, I wouldn't have it like that, sorry. I think you're going to get very bossy about this. You just need to have a bit more, that's it, like that. So you've got a bit more padding and you just want to make sure your shoulders are on that mat. So let's have a look. So, very nice. So if, like me, and you're feeling a bit stiff in your upper back, all you might want to do is apply some pressure down through your feet, either on the wall or on the sofa. And just roll up and down through your spine a few times and see how that feels. Good, very nice. And so I felt this was quite nice for my upper back. And so, Rebecca, just do as little as you want. Another thing, if you're really feeling you don't want to go very far, is you could just have your legs up the wall, or you could have your legs resting on the seat of your sofa, and that might be really nice as well, or a bed. And it's completely up to you. Perhaps what might be good is when you've rolled up and down a few times, is to settle back down and come to letting your head roll a bit to the right and to the left and ease your neck out. Yes. All these, yes, exactly. Oh, nice your hair. These little things. And then from rolling your head from side to side, a more comfortable place to settle your head down on the floor. You might even want to pick up in your hands and out the back of your neck. Make sure the neck feels long and relaxed. The other thing I like to do is just onto my breastbone, so beneath the collarbones. This is the part of us that get a little bit tense, a little bit held in shoulder stand, and just perhaps for a few cycles of breath, just feel your breastbone softening as you exhale. So there's a sort of, the chest rises a little bit as your breath comes in and softens back a bit as you exhale. And if you like, you could then go back into your rolling up towards shoulder stand. And you might even go on into shoulder stand, or you might not. You might just sort of stay where you are. So just whatever works for you. So I might just do that, that sort of, yeah. And I think, yes, I was very much feeling the same as that. And, we're just taking this very easy because it's not something I've been teaching or clearly doing that much of myself either. So, there are benefits to give us a bit of a massage in that area, particularly the rolling up and down. Again, if you go amazing, you don't have to step down. You can just carry on with the rolling up and down. Or you can just carry on with sort of lying quietly with your legs up on the sofa or on the wall. Good. Very nice. Yes, that's nice. Yeah, that's it, Linda. Give yourself a little rest. Good. So if you're still rolling up and down or you're still in shoulder stand, just give yourself another couple of breaths and then we'll start to make our way down. And again, when you come back down, it might be good to come back to the sort of letting your head roll from side to side, sort of easing of the head from side to side. And just noticing how you feel, because I think after shoulder stand, sometimes there's a feeling of, I feel, it can feel quite nice after it, maybe not during, but after. Okay, so in your own time, you're going to lengthen your mat out on the floor. If you want to put anything warm on, you can do. And we're just going to finish lying quietly. Rachel, would you like a blanket over? Okay. Otto's behaved himself quite well, so I should have mentioned his name. No, back on your bed. Back on your bed. Dear. So yes, so settling down onto your back. And if you wanted to, it might be quite nice just to start with your knees bent and your feet standing on the floor. So come back to some of those movements where we're just letting our knees tilt from side to side. And of course, also, if you like, you can fold your knees into your chest and do a little bit of rocking from side to side with your knees folded into you. Yes, so any of these little movements which help you to settle down. So I do a bit of rocking with my knees folded in towards me. And you could take your legs up to the ceiling and give them a little shake out. And then from there, settle down. Knees bent or legs long, so making yourself as comfortable as possible on the floor. I think I might should turn these lights out and then just if anyone's feeling a little bit headachy. So you can either rest your arms on the floor beside you or on the front of your body. Feel the flow of your breath through your body. The breath coming in, the breath leaving you. And today, I think we might particularly be aware of the wind outside. So as well as the sort of sense of what's going on inside of our body, we can be aware of the sounds around us. The air around us, the light, the ground supporting us. So in a moment I'm going to ring the singing bowl, but there's no rush to get up. You still have time to carry on lying down. last room. So thank you. Thank you everyone who's both here and on Zoom. Thank you, Linda. Ruth, how did you get on? Oh, I can't hear you. You have to press your...
Yeah,
how did you get on?
Yeah, most of it was fine, thanks. I think I've realised it's that sort of sacrum area. So some of the lying down.
I was wondering some of the stuff lying down.
Yeah, so some of the lying down was uncomfortable, but the stretching was very nice, thank you. Yeah.
Good. Well, it sounds like you're making good progress.
Yeah, I hope so. Yes. Nice to see everyone.
Nice to see you. I don't know whether it was the same for everyone, but you've been really fuzzy throughout this, Kara. Has that the same for everybody else?
Yeah.
I haven't had good reception all the way through.
It was cut.
Yeah. It was a bit stilted sometimes. It was okay.
Children, everyone else.
I don't know if
it's either possibly the wind, or it might be the fact that yes, everyone else in the house is on the internet. We'll have to kick them off it next week. So.
Thank you, though. It was lovely. Thank you.
Yeah, that was great.
Really nice.
Yeah, was the sound fuzzy or was it just
slightly distorted for me? Yeah. The sound, yeah.
It's fine for me actually.
I haven't had, when you've been sitting in the other position in your room, it's been fine, but I don't know whether it's tonight or whether it's because you've moved. Yeah.
I didn't have a problem with the sound actually.
Okay, I think it could be that everyone on the Wi-Fi. So
anyway, thank you very much. It was lovely to see everyone.
Yeah. Bye. Bye.
Bye.